Who's Prince's guitar from Purple Rain?
When I woke up, I was just like, I want that shit.
Eddie Murphy. Who's your favorite rock star? Prince.
She and her co-star are still what Hollywood calls an item.
I'm going to get kicked if I don't ask you about Alec Baldwin.
What do you want to know?
Are you nuts about each other?
We nuts about each other. It's funny.
You nuts about him?
Yep.
So something good came out of The Marrying Man, huh?
Oh, that's what it's all about.
Because she was supposed to be directing.
See, it's everything's timing. There was a reason for The Marrying Man, and I guess that was it.
I got to give her a lot of respect for it. So it's kind of like, nope. And I don't blame her.
That's
and
funny.
She took the scripts.
Thieves in the Temple.
When they first began to conceptualize Graffiti Bridge, I think that these were the characters.
The original script for Graffiti Bridge was me, Prince, and Madonna.
Originally, we were going to do a musical together, and we were going to write the music for it, and that didn't really pan out.
I was kind of looking forward to Graffiti Bridge, but Madonna dropped out, and then we got Ingrid and whoever else. Everything turned into chaos.
I think Camille was going to be a character in the movie, but that was dropped. Instead of the character being named Angel, it was named Aura.
Kim Basinger, she was in the script. Then one day Kim was gone, and Ingrid was there.
I had never acted. I was nervous about it.
The Time got back together to do an album called Pandemonium. After the Time was together doing the album Pandemonium, a certain phone call happened. And that phone call, hey, the phone. Hello? Oh, hi, Prince. How are you? What are you up to, sir?
I want to know if you guys would like to be in a film starring the Time.
Oh, be in a film starring the Time, Prince?
Yes, we're going to write like kind of documentary on how you guys got together and things you guys been through it.
Oh, in other words, it's going to be like our story, kind of like Purple Rain was going to be your story, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm just going to have a cameo appearance in the movie.
Oh, it's going to be just a Time movie with a cameo appearance by yourself.
Exactly.
A cameo appearance. He's changed. He's different.
He's changed,
He's
man.
different.
Okay, cool,
Are
man.
you guys in?
Send it right over, Prince. That sounds great, man.
By messenger.
1 week later. Hey, y'all, the script got here from Prince about the Time movie. Hey, man, look at here. Prince rides his motorcycle. Prince gets the girl. Prince writes a song. Prince.
Turn the page, man.
Hey, man, what's the time, man?
I don't see my name, man.
Here's the Time page right here. Here's this Time.
What page is that?
The Time script, man. Page 50, man.
Okay.
Here's our first line, man. Hey, Prince, man, I thought this was going to be a... What happened? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's going to be... Oh, I misunderstood you. I thought you said it was going to be a Time movie with a cameo by you, but instead it's going to be a Prince movie with a cameo by the Time.
I'll call you guys back when I finish the script.
Oh, okay, thanks, Prince. Okay. So that's the way that little story went down. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Any idea how the film is going to come out?
Absolutely fabulous.
I don't think I was very intimately involved with that Time record. You didn't need the time there in order to work on the Time record. I only met Morris Day once.
And with Prince's new film, Graffiti Bridge, brings back some of the characters from Purple Rain. With Prince for the second time around are Morris Day and Jerome Benton, and here they are. Prince get a little envious when he sees you like this?
Maybe Prince will be clean as me one day. This is early in the morning for me. I don't start looking good till afternoon.
Morris is really good in this. Like, he's a good actor.
Prince knew his humor, knew his timing. He knew Morris. Everybody can't write for Morris. A lot of people, they overwrite. You know, anything he wanted to do, I was down for. I was all in. This would be my third project with him in front of the camera. So I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. And, you know, he's really into it. But that was the last call I got. Input for this movie was cut off. We were just all invited.
Well, let's see. I had met Prince a few years earlier. I had made this record with him that hadn't been released. This is a few years later. And
You know, we actually wound up not talking for a couple of years after that, and then getting together and finishing the record and then making a movie. I think that it was because of you that I got the part in Graffiti Bridge.
Ingrid and I, well, we go back. Prince said, I know this girl. You should actually meet her. She's a real poet. She's really the real deal. And go meet her. talk to her, and then come back and tell me what you think. And so we met. You were living off of Nicollet Avenue on like the 3rd floor or something like this. And I mean, usually he was looking for radio-friendly kind of people who had that, and she was really a poet and an artist, and which was not typical of the artist that he was looking at. And so I came back and I said, yeah, she's the real deal.
I got a call from Prince. He asked me if I wanted to finish the poetry album. We start working on the poetry album. We start making videos. And Craig Rice shot the first video, Heaven Must Be Near.
Heaven Must Be Near. I shot that, I directed that, and shot the video, which Prince actually edited, which I thought he did a great job. It took too long, but he did a great job.
When they went to start looking for a lead for the role of Aura, Craig told Prince, "You have Aura here. Like, why are you looking anywhere else?" So
when we got to Graffiti Bridge, I said, we need to put her in the movie.
The production started, and they started telling me, the parts. I had to eliminate all of the questions that were popping up for what was going on and just try to make it part of who I was.
Prince just goes with things, I think that people didn't understand where he was going with it while he was making it, and that might have, influenced how it turned out.
Yeah, it sort of evolved because, they shot a lot of that movie at Paisley Park.
Now, when Prince directs and writes and produces and stars in and all these things, does he get a little crazed trying to wear so many hats at once? What's it like to work with him?
It's cool.
So I'd wander back and see what they were shooting. Doing it in the soundstage was a terrible idea. It just seemed really fakey and the script was dumb. But for the most part, I just was just in the studio doing like what we always did. And so he would work in the recording studio whenever he wasn't working on the movie set.
Prince was rehearsing for the Batman tour, so he was running from studio to studio.
I knew I should have brought you to Europe. I remember us meeting. A lot of people got backup dancers now. It's not something I ever really did, but maybe it's time to do something different. And Prince saying, like, what do you guys think? Should we take the show to this kind of situation? Prince decided to hire them to go ahead and do it. That was really a turning point.
What's up with this drum machine?
What? Ain't you in charge here? I want more stuff. And we're working it out right now. What? Man, don't hurt you first. What are you going to talk about? What did you say? What did you say?
Boyhood chums with Prince from Minneapolis?
Yeah, we are.
So you knew Prince when he was just a little Prince, huh?
Yeah.
Prince fascinates me. It's a gag order.
Even before my record was released, I went into the studio with Ingrid Chavez and recorded Just by My Love.
You saw it all over her. I'm standing next to her and I'm talking, have a full conversation. She was really nice, but I was like, maybe I'm bucking her. Eventually I walked away. I'm on stage shooting now, a scene, and then I watch Prince walk over to her and she does the same thing. She wasn't impressed by nothing any of us was doing.
That's true. When I got back into the scene, I was kind of over it, like, okay, I'm going to do this movie.
Graffiti Bridge. Tell us about it.
This is a nice movie. This movie is, you might want to call it a sequel to Purple Rain.
Warner Brothers having some kind of input on, like what they thought was going to make a good film or not. They wasn't, sticking with what they originally had decided this film was going to be about. I think it came down to editing, and Prince was changing the script along the way.
Hasn't this nightclub been left to you? In a will?
Yeah, I'm trying to take the club from you.
Well, you have different attitudes towards the way life should be lived. People live for money, right? And the kid, well, there's a conflict there.
But I think that he wanted to make a musical. It was just something he was trying to say, about love and God and peace and people getting together and getting along, things like that.
Sometimes his shooting day was different because he was always adding new stuff.
Yep.
My panty scene wasn't in the script. It was totally written then.
And we all were on set that day.
We're hanging out in his bedroom. It's the night after he's taken me from Morris Day. It's the night scene. I'm still in the dress. We're talking about his sheet music. And suddenly, he's getting home. I think it was supposed to kind of come out of that part of the film. Even when I was doing it, it just felt so dark and intense for the kind of film that he was making.
A lot of beautiful women always circulating around Prince,
Oh, well, yeah. He gets leftovers.
He was dating Elisa somewhere in the middle of all this, too.
I was around a lot at that time in the studio.
How I met Prince was I was working with David Z, who's produced The Fine Young Cannibals and The Jets and Jody Watley. And I was working with him in Minneapolis at Paisley Park. And Prince walked in one day when I was in the bathroom. And I came back Prince looked up and said, "Is that you singing?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Go home, write some lyrics, bring them back tomorrow, and we'll write a song." So I did, and then he was impressed, and he just stayed around.
Well, a lot of things happened on Graffiti Bridge. The Love Machine was quite dirty. I really had no idea that Jill was on there before.
I did some overdubs on this song in Prince's studio.
She had initially been the one singing Love Machine. I got asked to go into Studio B and, hey, Morris Day laid this track down and I want you to put your vocals. And I said, okay. He never told me. He was sneaky like that. He liked to play games.
He let me sing it with my own vocal, and then he put Elisa Fiorillo in. And when I heard that he did that, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess because he couldn't put her in the movie, maybe he put her in there in a really weird way.
I don't know what happened between them at the time, but they got in a fight or something. That was a funny game that I'm sure she wasn't too happy about for a long time and probably thought it was my fault.
That's how Prince was. I didn't want to do this scene. I just thought it was very exploitative. I did it, but I didn't want to.
But I had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it, Jill.
One thing he could do, he could find talent.
He could if he just put people in things that they were good at. Sometimes he wanted us to be so good at things. And even I was like, I don't think that's good. It'd be hard to admit, like, that take wasn't really good, Prince. Like, I don't think that's good. We don't have time, Jill. We don't have time, Jill.
Purple Rain. Rated R. Now playing. Please check newspapers for a theater near you.
Like it lacked all of the cool things of Purple Rain, which was filmed on location, like wet streets and places, and it has a realness about it. And
Well, we look forward to American, graffiti
Bridge.
American graffiti. I was going to say, that ain't it. It's Graffiti Bridge, if you're looking for it. But thanks so much for coming by and doing that.
I relate very much to that character.
She sort of has to be sacrificed at the end, sort of.
Yes. It's just the feeling that it is a sacrifice. Writing and laying your soul on the line is a sacrifice. The story of my life.
I'll tell you how I met Lenny, filming Graffiti Bridge. And after finishing up work that day, Prince asked me if I wanted to go see Lenny play at First Avenue. He had a limo drive us to First Avenue, and we're just there hanging out. And we hung out at the soundboard and watched for a little bit. It's halfway through Lenny's set, and Prince is like, yeah, boy, let's go. I want to go home now. And Lenny wasn't even done yet. So we get in a limo. We drive all the way back to Paisley Park. At the time, I lived literally like 5 minutes from First Avenue. And he gets out of the car and he tells the driver to take me home. And I'm like, can you just take me back to First Avenue? So I went back to First Avenue and I went backstage.
She came to some of my early gigs, but I don't remember the day I met her. Was that a gig or was that
Lenny and I had a mutual friend, Tony Lamas.
We met, I'm not sure if it was through Tony or just her coming to a gig. Yeah.
I never met Lenny, but I was friends with Tony and I knew that him and Lenny were friends. So just talked to Lenny and told him, I'm a friend of Tony's. And so we talked and hung out for a little while and we became friends. So whenever I was out in LA, we would hang out.
I had just come off the road from the Let Love Rule tour. I was nobody. I was the new kid on the block.
When I would go out to LA to pick up some of the shots for the movie, I would hang out with Lenny.
She was here shooting the movie, and then we were in LA editing and mixing and all that for the movie.
Then the song was written a few months down the line when I was in Los Angeles. I sort of just booked myself at a studio just to do some things, and it came out. Him and Andre Betts were in the studio, and he invited me to the studio, and Zoe was just a little girl, and I was coloring with her.
Lenny Kravitz and myself and a guy named Andre Betts went in the studio.
They asked me if I had anything. I said, I have this letter that I wrote on me. So I just went in and read the letter.
Andre Betts started a beat, Lenny did some strings, and I did all the vocal and the lyric.
And then a couple of days later, Lenny invited me to go to Virgin to talk to the head of Virgin and let them hear this song. I had a cassette of the song. The head of Virgin asked me if he could have my copy. Oh, I really like this song. Can I hold on to your cassette? Must have heard that this was a song Madonna should do, but can I have a copy? I was like, oh yeah, sure, thinking I will get another copy. When I actually tried to contact the studio and contact people about getting another copy, it was like shut down.
When I gave Justify My Love to Madonna, I called her and I said, I have a #1 song for you.
Unfortunately, he said that he did it all, and me and Dre were sort of left out of the picture pretty much.
And I brought it to her, and she heard it and she liked it, and We recorded it 2 days later.
Lenny gives a song to Madonna. They recorded without my permission.
Oh, she's the one who laid the track, you know.
Well, I mean, we had our problems here and there.
Lenny brought me a track with the lyrics written, and then I came in and changed the things that I wanted to change vocally or lyrically, and then did, you know, my version of it. When Lenny Kravitz brought me the song, I didn't know anything about the fact that he had worked with Ingrid Chavez. I mean, I was completely innocent in this situation.
No, he's rolling. Psych.
It's impossible to adequately describe the power of Prince in concert if you haven't experienced it.
Well, as you know, it all began last December when tickets went on sale at 9 a.m. Many fans had queued overnight to guarantee themselves a place at the concert of the year. And for those, the wait was definitely all worth it.
Already. Bang!
This one's a much simpler production. Action on stage, and of course his songwriting is second to none.
I'm using virtually every effect known to man.
We're going to try to give you a show tonight. You expect a lot of black people on stage this evening. Nothing but a party. Just a funky groove. Nothing but a funky groove.
1999 had the whole place screaming along. The future. Housequake. Purple Rain, of course. Take Me With You and stuff like that. And nothing compares to you. They brought the long set home with When Doves Cry. And I was crying too. When the stadium chanted and screamed him back on stage for an encore, he did Baby I'm a Star. Insane Latin rhythms and dance moves with spins and slides, which segued to Brother with a Purpose and Weekend Funk. I felt Daddy's grip on my elbow. Maite, do you hear that? This music, this is your music. You should be dancing to that, Mama shouted in my ear over the roar of the concert. He needs to see you dance.
Has Madonna finally gone too far?
Prince hears it on the radio and he calls me up and he says, Ingrid, what's up with that Madonna song? I know that's you. I had never told anyone. It was just between me and Lenny.